did ya? Welcome back. It's me, Cinema C, with the You Feel Me podcast, where I talk all things movies, TV shows, and other black ass business. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, talk to me. I talk back. But let's just jump into what I've been watching. Let's talk about Raising Kanan, or should I say Raising Jukebox. The series finale did air, I think last Friday, so if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert. If you've been keeping up with the last 5 seasons of Raising Kanan, one of the Power Universe best show, if you ask me, and it has one of the best intro songs out of all 50 Cent shows, Argue With Your Mama. Oh my gosh, a lot has happened. Now, I was on TikTok and I saw some people kind of having the same sentiments as I did. This series finale, just this whole season in general, to me, was Raising Jukebox. She's lost both parents. She lost her first love. She lost her best friend, Famous. She lost her uncle and producer and songwriter. She lost her best friend in Kanan, although he's not dead, like their relationship is strained. And honestly, she kind of took a big step back from Aunt Rock as well. So the entire series, we've been seeing her lose. And what does she do to get her get back? After Juke gets rid of Snap, Crackle, Pop, then she goes on a tirade and she finds out that Kanan is the one who put her dad down, Uncle Marvin. And he did it in such a terrible way. I don't even think I got to talk to you guys about that. In a church, I mean, they are just trying to make Kanan seem like the most evil of evil monsters ever. And I guess it's kind of true. Like, I haven't watched Power in a while, but I do remember he was wilding quite a bit. So I guess to see his origin story, this is how he grew up. It makes sense why he turned out to be such a monster, and also why he was trying to groom little Tariq to be just like him. If I think about it, who was the worst kid, Kanan or Tariq? So back to Juke. So Juke finds out that Kanan killed Uncle Marvin, which is her father, and then she retaliates by wanting to get rid of Kanan. She wants to kill him, honestly. So she's following him around. And when I say I've never seen somebody like creep like Juke, it's like she's almost not even there. So Kanan and his mom finally reconciled. She doesn't take the deal. Rock was actually in negotiations to tell the feds on Stefano, Buschetti, everybody. She was gonna tell on everybody and get her and Kanan out of there. And during that whole sit down, she never said shit about Juke or Uncle Marvin. So I mean, it kind of solidifies and reiterates what we knew about Kanan and his mom from the very beginning, which is that they're selfish pieces of shit. Sorry, Rock. I love you, Patina girl. So Juke sees that Juke's get back is to kill Rock, and she does. And so at the very end of the episode, we see Juke sit down with Kanan, and she tells him right to his face, like he doesn't even know yet that his mom's is gone. But she tells him, yeah, I did that shit, and I did it so you would feel how I feel, like you took everything from me. And if you think back to season 1, when Juke had that white girlfriend that overdosed, she did overdose on Kanan's drugs. She did. And I feel like, obviously, the final straw for Juke was Kanan killing Uncle Marvin, but also Kanan's lack of empathy or just even care about what happened with Famous was crazy. And I think once he showed her that he didn't give a fuck about Famous, that really was kind of just like cut the tether. Completely. Something else that this final episode kind of touched on was just, it kind of showed us why when we see Kanan and Juke again in the future in the Power series, why she just like was not fucking with him. And the fact that we then also see Kanan kills Juke, because that's how we're ever even introduced to any piece of Kanan's family or lineage, is that Jukebox kind of kidnaps Tariq and then Kanan kills her. And he probably's been waiting to do this for a very long time based on what we just saw last week. Although this season did end, we did kind of get a glimpse into the future of Ghost and Tommy, because of course, Baby Ghost and Baby Tommy are getting a spinoff. I don't know the name of it quite yet, but we see these 2 kids get introduced to Kanan by some middleman, and he basically like, hey, they want to get down. And these kids are much too young to be selling drugs, so I was like so shocked when when they came on the screen. But they're introduced as Ghost and Tommy, and at that moment, Kanan tells them, y'all way too young for this, get out of here. It was kind of one of those Easter eggs. I know the movie people love to say that. Me, I'm the movie people. So it was kind of like an Easter egg showing us what's to come, because there is another series. They selling drugs again, y'all. You guys will never believe this, or maybe you will if you've been keeping up with Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. The fuck? That's a crazy ass name. Don't shoot me. The 1996 murder trial of Tupac Shakur has just started this week in Las Vegas. Here are some of the details. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, 63 years old, faces one charge of murder with a deadly weapon with the intent to promote, further, or assist a criminal gang in Shakur's death. He's pleaded not guilty. I know some of you are wondering, how the hell is this just now going to trial after all these years? Literally, it's been like 30 years. 1996, it's been like 30 years. He died in September. Why is this just now going to trial? Well, I'll tell you why. Shout out to the podcast and the microphones, because niggas just can't get enough of talking. Keefe D wrote a tell-all memoir back in 2023, and it had details that police and other people that are still investigating this homicide, because it's not a closed case, thought were rather interesting. And so the information that he willingly gave in his memoir has made him a number one suspect in the death of Tupac Shakur. There were other people involved in the killing, in the shooting, obviously. There were a number of men in a white Cadillac the night that it happened. But crazy enough, all the other witnesses and or assailants that were in the car the night of the shooting and killing of Tupac Shakur have also died. The alleged shooter died just 2 years later. You know what they say, if you live by the gun, you die by the gun. Prosecutors say that they're not looking to charge Keefe D with the actual murdering of Tupac Shakur, but they are charging him for being the person that provided the gun for the murder, amongst other things. The only other surviving witness for this entire debacle is Suge Knight. This is serious because it's not funny, but Suge Knight is facing like 28 years in a prison because he ran over a Compton businessman in 2015 and killed him. And Suge Knight has said that he will not be testifying on anybody's behalf, even though Keefe D's lawyers have said that if Suge Knight testified, it actually might help them. So Suge said he's out. People have speculated whether or not Diddy would be testifying. As you know, he's serving a 4-year sentence in New Jersey. He said his name's Bennett and he's not in it. But for some reason, I don't believe that. But whether or not he will testify is unbeknownst to us. When reached out to his lawyers for a word or a comment, they denied. Also, no tea, all shade. It was reported not too long ago that Diddy got in a little scuffle in jail, so he might have his own shit to worry about, honestly. Lastly, in entertainment news, Donnell Jones and Joe are supposed to have a versus on August 20th. I'm excited for that, and I just want to say to the people at home and behind those keyboards that think Donnell Jones doesn't have a catalog, Miss Ma'am, are you mistaken? I honestly think, Joe got that Power theme song, so you never know. That shit hits in the club. I'm not going to lie. But I really do think Donnell Jones, he got it. Like, I really do think he has it. So we'll revisit this in a couple weeks and see who actually won. Let's get into some film updates, shall we? So I recently heard that the Jetsons, remember that cartoon? Like, it's futuristic cartoon from way back in the day. I heard that they're getting like a live action movie and Jim Carrey is supposed to star in it. I'm so excited for that. That's all I know for now. There's no trailer. There's nothing, but they're just giving us crumbs. But if this is said to be true, I will be the first person at that fucking theater. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to Robert Pattinson. I know you're watching this. For real, Robert, you have had an amazing couple of years. I don't know if the people have been watching. So he's starring in another A24 film called Primetime, where he plays Chris Hansen. Do you guys know who that is? The guy that used to do the show To Catch a Predator. If you've never heard of To Catch a Predator, it's exactly what it sounds like. It was this TV show back in the day where it was like hidden cameras, and they would basically sniff out predators, men, women, anybody that was trying to hook up with underage kids. It was like a sting operation, but for like a TV show. This is before Cheaters. This is before Impractical Jokers, but kind of the same setup where you set up cameras and people don't know you're watching you, but instead of it being for a prank, it's to actually catch predators, child predators. So Robert Pattinson will be starring in that film. It's called Primetime, and it comes out in September. After that, we're going to get him again in Dune Part 3. Yes, his girl Zendaya hooked him up with that role. I talked about it a few weeks ago. Following that, we are supposed to get Robert Pattinson in Batman Part 2. A little tea here, Zoe Kravitz is out and Scarlett Johansson is in. I'm not really sure what role she's going to play, but I know she's going to be like the leading lady in this film. Also going to be in this film is Colin Farrell. He's going to play the Penguin. If you guys had never checked out the HBO series, The Penguin, check it out. I believe they only ever had one season. I don't know when they're coming back, but if you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it in preparation for the Batman movie that's supposed to come out sometime in 2027. I believe it's October. Last but not least, Robert Pattinson is supposed to star in a Netflix film called Here Comes the Flood alongside Denzel Washington, y'all. It's not coming out until 2027, but it's basically, from what I've gathered and read about it, it's going to be a movie about a heist. So Denzel Washington, there's a main girl, and Robert Pattinson are all three unlikely characters who come together to try to pull off some type of grand heist. So I'm very excited for that. Lastly, in film updates, well, it's kind of a film update. It's also entertainment, news, and gossip. But it's not gossip because I saw it for myself, right? So Chloe Bailey was going off on the girls this week on Twitter. Did y'all see that? I need to get a laugh track. Chloe was going off on people because, as you know, for some reason, she is oftentimes targeted on the internet. People like to say she's corny, she tries too hard, all these things. But I don't think there's anything wrong with trying hard. Most of the time, people are afraid to try it all, let alone be seen trying. So I think the narrative is a little dry and definitely played out, y'all. Get off her neck. People were roasting Chloe because there has been just so much talk about Marvel's Storm casting, like who's going to be Storm, who's going to be Storm, who's on the player. And so Chloe, I'm guessing based on her post, she's into comic books and things like that. So she posted a couple comic books and posted herself with blonde eyebrows and blonde hair, just kind of teasing, saying, you know, I'm going to be the next Storm. Well, let me tell you this, baby. The nerds was not feeling that. And I was like, I didn't know that X-Men had such a wide fan base of haters. Like, this is crazy. So people started tagging her comments, but it felt like it was more of a personal attack than you wouldn't be a good casting. And so they started roasting her to the point where she started clapping back. Like, she's retweeting, she's quoting, she's cussing people out, she's using bad words. Like, this is Chloe. People joked and said that Halle took her phone for the day because we do know Halle to be a little bit more spicy than Chloe. I mean, check out her baby daddy, right? But I'm just saying. So I was happy to see Chloe, you know, put her foot down and talk her shit back because she deserves to. In all serious news, though, some names that have been floating around for the casting of Storm: DeWanda Wise. You might know her as Nola Darling from the Netflix series She Gotta Have It, Spike Lee's remake. Also, Cynthia Erivo, KANAN. I don't even know. And lastly, Jamie Lawson. She was in Sinners recently, and she played the married girl that was kind of flirting with the little cousin the entire time. If I had my pick out of those three, I would definitely say we got to give it to Jamie or DeWanda. Cynthia. Oh, lastly, I did want to mention this. It's not even in my note cards, but I see that Spike Lee is starting a film festival. It's going to be happening this November. It's just going to be 2 days in Brooklyn, and tickets go on sale in September. I'm excited for that, and I really want to try to make it. November is my birthday month. So if you're feeling generous, send me a ticket. Thanks, Spike. Let's roll the tape, shall we? All right, so this week's feature film is called The Drama. Have you heard of it? It came out in theater a few months ago, and I did see it then, but I don't think a lot of people went to see it. It's now streaming on HBO, so the people have been talking, and let me tell you what they're talking about. A24's The Drama. An explosive confession throws the wedding of a seemingly perfect couple off the rails as they spiral to confront whether they can truly make it to I Do. This stars Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Marmaduke Athey, and Alana Haim. I'm going to tell you why I said those last two names like that in a second. I'm not going to lie. Marmaduke and Alana, who play Mike and Angela, I can't stand them. So this entire recap, I will not have a good thing to say about them. If you're looking for that, kick rocks. A24's The Drama did receive 77% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's much higher than I thought it would be because, boy, is this movie controversial. Spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about this movie in depth. The beginning, the middle, and the end. First of all, I want to talk about how Charlie met Emma. Robert Pattinson plays Charlie. Zendaya plays Emma. They are the couple that's supposed to get married. So let's start there. So the first time we're introduced to them is the first time they ever meet. It's the beginning of the movie, and they're both writing their vows, and they're retelling the story of how they met from Charlie's perspective. So Charlie tells us that he sees this cute girl at a coffee shop, and she's reading a book. He kind of goes over to say something to her, but he doesn't really directly say something to her. It's as if someone said something funny next to you and they knew you could hear it, but they were expecting you to laugh. I think he literally does something like that. He says something to her, but she doesn't hear him. And when we look, we see that she has a earbud in, so she's listening to music and reading, which is a pretty tough thing to do. So shout out to her, because my imagination just goes. So she doesn't hear him, and then he kind of walks back to the seat. He's being awkward. Everybody's looking at him like, what the fuck is he doing? Talk to her or don't. So he ends up talking to her, and, well, before that, he sees that she's reading a book, and he sees the book that she's reading. He goes back to his seat, Googles the book so he'll have something to talk to her about. At first glance, I think that's pretty cute. I mean, you're going out of your way to, seem knowledgeable about something just to have a conversation with me. I thought it was cute till I really thought about it. I think that might be doing a little bit too much. If you can't organically approach me, I don't know that I want you to be trying to do research on my background and what I like so that it seems like you like those things too. But whatever, that's what happened. So he goes over, he speaks to her about the book, he invites her on a date. They go on their first date, and the entire date, Zendaya's character, Emma, is talking about this book. She's like, can you believe that ending? What did you think about this? And after the first question, if I were her, I would have clocked out the gate that he did not read that book, but I guess she didn't realize it. So she asked him 2 or 3 questions, and then he finally says, look, I didn't read that crummy book. I just really wanted to talk to you, and so I got what I wanted. And she thinks that's cute. She thinks lying is cute. Oh. Okay, so, if you can get past a white lie, then, that might be a good meet cute for you, What's a meet cute? I'll tell you. I'm just kidding. A meet cute is the part in a romantic comedy or a romance story where the two people that are going to be our main subjects bump into each other in some cute way. It's called a meet cute. They meet in a cute way. Okay. So we get that perspective from Charlie because he's writing his vows with his homeboy, Mike. Mike literally is a homeboy. He's black. And so then we get Zendaya's perspective. She's at brunch with 2 of her friends. They are white, and she's trying to figure out what should she base her vows on. Should it be the first time they met, X, Y, and Z? And then her friend Rachel, who's sitting across from her, because as Zendaya's talking about, her wedding day, she's getting a little emotional. She's crying a little bit. And so her friend Rachel tells her, you shouldn't tell that story if it's going to make you cry. You look ugly when you cry. That's exactly how she said it. I was shocked. I'm like, okay, that might be true. A lot of people do look ugly when they cry. But why would you tell someone that when they're being emotional about their happiness and the fact that they found the person that they're going to spend their life with? I thought it was some hater shit, and I would have never talked to her after that. But we move. We're only 5 minutes into the movie, and I'm already feeling like I don't like either one of their friends. I want to talk a little bit about Mike. This is Charlie's friend, the black guy. His name's Mamadou Athie. Look him up. He was in a movie called Black Box, and in that movie, he ended up giving his life for some white girl. I've seen him in a couple movies, and they always kind of have him as the token black guy that speaks well and probably has a lot of white friends, or just he's Captain Planet, okay? So anyways, I love in movies when white guys have black friends and they're just overtly black. They don't have to hide it, and we could still be friends. So I just kind of was taken aback a little bit by how Mike's character was written. I'll say that. And can I just say, don't shoot me, but I feel like Zendaya has a J-Lo quality. Jennifer Lopez, Jenny from the Block. She has a J-Lo quality. I don't know if it's actually how she looks or how she speaks or how she holds her. It's something about her that reminds me of Jennifer Lopez. I saw recently, I think J-Lo said that she would love to do a movie with Zendaya, but then I saw Halle Berry actually said she would love to play Zendaya's mother in a movie. And honestly, I think either one of them would be a great fit to play Zendaya's mom in a movie. But what I will say is, Halle, if you're going to play her mama, please keep up with your child, because we know you love to lose a child, boy. Where's Isaiah? Oh, I'm just playing, girl. I hope you see this, Halle, because I know you be on the internet, girl. Also, Zendaya, lay you down, girl. But I never has she ever played opposite of like a black love interest, fully black. Just wonder. I wonder how that would look. Like I wonder what that would give. Like I would love to see her in something like that. So Zendaya, hook up with Michael B. Jordan or somebody. I know they're gonna get you somebody clean. Shit, even Keith Powers. I really love him. And let's see what that looks like. I'm not gonna lie. One of my favorite parts of this movie is when they go to their dance instructor, because you know when you get married, you do a first dance, and so they're taking a dance class, and Zendaya is kind of like goofing off. She's like, "Okay, do we really have to do it this way?" And it's like maybe the week of the wedding. So for you to all of a sudden be saying, "Hey, let's freestyle something," is crazy. But it is her wedding day. So when she proposes that they just freestyle it, she doesn't want to do this stuffy dance. The dance teacher gets shitty, y'all. The dance teacher gets hot. She kind of says something to Zendaya like, because Zendaya's like, I just feel, it feels so performative to be dancing like this. Like, this is not us. And the dance instructor is like, because it is fucking performative. Like, she even curses at him. And it's the funniest scene. And then they switch to another scene. I will say, this movie cinematically, I love how the cut scenes are so rough. Like 1 minute they're in a dance studio, the next thing you know, they're walking down the block and it's the middle of the night and they're walking home. You never really see a scene end or wrap up. And then they might talk about it later, and so they'll show you that scene later. But the way the scenes just kind of cut, I really like it. It can be a little jarring for some viewers, but I think it really it kind of makes the movie unique. This is an A24 movie, so there's gonna be blood. Keep that in mind. So as I said, after they leave the dance scene, they're walking down the street out of nowhere. And as they're walking, Emma's character says, "Is that our DJ over there?" And Charlie's like, "Where?" They look across the street, y'all. The person that they have hired to be the DJ for their wedding is on the street doing cocaine. Well, heroin. She's on the street doing heroin. And Emma's like, "Is that our DJ over there doing heroin?" And Charlie's like, "No, no." And they look, and it is, y'all. If you saw the DJ to your wedding a couple nights before your wedding and they were on the side of the street doing drugs, would you fire them? I feel like that's a little harsh. And I feel like when you hire a DJ or someone like that's super into their music or art or just abstract shit, you should expect a little drug usage. But that's just me, though. This is not a drug promotion ad, and I do think that if you're on drugs, you shouldn't be. You know how I mentioned that the scenes are like really choppy, like they cut to and from? At one point, we see like a red wedding scene. If you're a Game of Thrones watcher, then you know what that means. It's like they show the wedding and everybody's dead in a gruesome way and there's blood everywhere. And then you think, damn, is that what's to come? Because like I said, they place these scenes, they're not in chronological order at all. So you never know if something is an imagination piece or if it happened or if it's going to happen. It's crazy, y'all. So if you're squeamish, just keep that in mind. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of this, because I feel like I've kind of given you guys like a little bit of a character analysis on Emma and Charlie at least, and definitely Mike and Rachel. And so let's get to the part where what the movie's all about. So they're at kind of like a tasting. It's just Emma and Charlie, who are the couple getting married, and then it's Rachel and Mike, the friends of the couple that's getting married. And so they decide to play this game where they all go around and talk about the most terrible thing they've ever done or a secret that they've never told anybody. They're going to share it today. I'm going to stop you there. I'm not telling you no secret that I've never told anybody the night before my wedding. Like, just don't ask me no shit like that. People, I feel like why do you want to know something that's close to my heart? I feel like there's not even good intention behind that. So this was a bad idea. And of course, it was Rachel's idea. And so Rachel proposes it, and she's dating Mike. And she kind of throws Mike under the bus because she's like, let's do this thing. Let's talk about the worst thing we've ever done. And everybody's kind of like, I don't really know. It's a vibe killer. Why would we do that? And then she's like, well, I'll start. Mike, I'll tell him what you did about the dog. And so he's like, no. He's like, you said you wouldn't tell anybody. Right there is my problem. This is an interracial couple. Mike is black, Rachel is white, but it feels like Rachel is very pushy. We've already seen her be judgmental and negative towards Emma. It's just a weird vibe with her. And so she wants to air out everybody's bad business. So I wrote down everybody's story so we could talk about who really had the worst story. Let's start with Mike. Mike's story. It was a wild, crazy street dog. When this man called an animal a street dog, I said, he's really trying hard to fit in. He's really trying. A street dog? A stray dog? You could have said a stray, but a street dog, it made me, I can't even talk. It made me feel like you wanted to say a street thug, a street man, a black man. Like, was it a dog or was it a black man? Anyways, he says there was a street dog on the loose on his girlfriend's birthday. And when the dog approached him and his girlfriend, he used her as a human shield. And that was the worst thing that he's ever done. I think that's pretty fucked up. On my birthday is crazy in general, but on my birthday is crazy. So moving along to Rachel's story. These are Rachel's words, by the way. Rachel said she abandoned a slow kid in a nasty RV closet and locked him in there when she was younger. She said that she had a neighbor, a kid in her neighborhood that was, mentally delayed, slow, whatever you want to call it, and that he would always knock on her door and see if she wanted to hang out. And she was like, no way. But then one day she said she was so bored that she actually did hang out with this kid and that he wanted to show her some abandoned RV that he found in the middle of the woods. So she followed him there and she went to the RV. She said it was disgusting. She said it had porn magazines, old food, just disgusting, an abandoned RV. And she says that she locked the kid in the closet and left him there and went back home. She forgot he was even there. That's crazy. And she said it was so bad that the boy's father came over looking for him, like, hey, have you seen my son? And she said she was scared that she was going to get in trouble, so she lied and said she hadn't seen him. Then she said she woke up, forgot all about it, and the next morning there was a search party, there was all this stuff, people looking for this missing child that she knew exactly where he was. She said that they ended up finding him. That was her story. Charlie's story. Oh, Charlie. Charlie says that he cyberbullied a kid into leaving the whole town and the school. And when they kind of dug into Charlie, because he's like, obvious, he's a really nice guy. So like, okay, how old were you when you did this? Charlie says he was 14. So they're like, man, that don't count. You haven't done anything bad. And he basically says no. So then they get to Emma. Emma says that when she was a kid, she planned a school shooting, but she didn't go through with it. That's her secret. So that's what the entire movie becomes about, is that they find out that Emma, I guess, isn't who they thought she was. And that when she was a teenager, that she planned a school shooting and she almost went through with it. Like I said earlier in the story, we find out that Emma's deaf in one of her ears. When Charlie's trying to talk to her the first time he meets her, she's not exactly ignoring him. She really just didn't hear that nigga. And so she tells them at this dinner that instead of her being born deaf, is what she had told Charlie, she actually lost her hearing because she was practicing with the rifle and blew her fucking eardrum out. So upon finding this out, Rachel is disgusted. Now, I already said it. Rachel didn't like Emma before this. So now she finally has a reason where she can like word vomit onto Emma, and tell her how much she doesn't like her. So Rachel uses this opportunity to kind of tear Emma apart. And Emma's like, I mean, I was a kid. Like, I was really bullied at school, blah, blah, blah. Charlie's shocked. It's not like he's on her side. Like, everybody at the table, is all four of them are just kind of looking at her like, bitch, who are you? With school shootings being so rampant and such like a sensitive topic here in America, especially in America, I will mention Charlie's character, which is Robert Pattinson. He doesn't lose the accent. Like, he gives us the full-on British accent this entire movie. So he's obviously not American. And so he kind of, at one point in the movie, tries to excuse Emma because everybody's down her throat now. Nobody wants to really talk to her. And he's kind of saying, like, isn't this like a thing in America? Like, people have guns all the time. Like, imagine how many people have thought about this. Like, let's not make this a Emma issue. Let's make it a guns issue. And so while they're at this dinner, Rachel goes into this whole spiel about how her cousin is actually paralyzed because of a school shooting, and like how she hates school shooters and she hates all this and she hates Emma now, and she can finally say it and have a reason. That's all I felt like, because honestly, Rachel, your story was pretty fucked up. Like, what you did actually traumatized the kid. Like, you hurt someone else. Emma, while as crazy as it was, she only thought about it. And yeah, she was practicing with guns, and they give us all these flashbacks of her being a kid and how she was talked to at school and being bullied by the kids at her school and the reasons why she wanted to do it. I don't think that makes it okay, because at the end of the day, a lot of people get bullied and don't go shoot up a school. So it will never be excusable to me. But also, what I was thinking the entire time, I know how controversial this topic is, especially, like I said, here in America. But it's like we focus so much on the school shooting because people are shot, people are killed, people are scared and traumatized and all these things. But when do we ever sit down and focus on why these kids are feeling like this? Now, some of these motherfuckers are just psychopaths, and it is the parents' fault. But some of these people are bullied by your students, by your kids. So it's like, when do we address the bullying? Let's address the mental health, but let's address the bullying. Let's address the girls that's bullying her. Like, why? None of it is okay. Definitely not the result. But it made me kind of think about that as well. Like, it's like we never really focus on that part, on the why, because all we can focus on is this happened and it's such a terrible thing. But let's stop our kids from bullying. Let's start there. Okay, so like I said, the entire movie now becomes about Emma being this crazy teenager who wanted to plan a school shooting but didn't. So it's time for the wedding. They're taking their wedding pictures, and now Charlie's like looking at Emma like, do I even know you? Do I want to go through with this? He's getting everybody and their mama's opinion. He's talking to Mike. Mike, what should I do? Mike's like, I don't know. I would damn near leave her. Rachel hates her. Rachel wants him to leave her. Like, it's like, I was kind of annoyed in this part is because I hate when people feel away, and then it's nothing wrong with talking to someone, your therapist, your mom, your best friend, venting, or even getting a second opinion. But what the hell do you need a third, a fourth, and a fifth opinion for too? Do you have cancer? Like, what do you need all these fucking professional opinions for? These unprofessional, unlicensed opinions. I feel like when people do that, they're just waiting for someone to tell them what they want to hear or validate them. And I feel like this is way too big of a decision, whether you're going to marry the love of your life or the person you thought you loved or not, based on someone else's feelings about something that person did. It just feels super messy. So I didn't like the way he was handling it. And he kind of just didn't know what to do. So he's talking to Emma about it. She's all scared, like, damn, do you still want to marry me? They go get their wedding photos. They're awkward. They're not holding each other. They're not kissing. The photographer is like, okay, act like you like him. Do you like this guy? Like, do you know this guy? Like, how are things? Like, it was to the point where it's like, are they going to call this wedding off? Cut scene, they're at the wedding. So they go through with the wedding. Rachel stands up and gives one of the worst speeches I've ever heard. And she lets us know also in this speech that she's not even friends with Emma. She was friends with Charlie. Like, the beginning of her speech, she says something like, when Emma first asked me to be her maid of honor, I was thinking, don't you have any real friends? Excuse me? My security would have tackled her immediately. Security? It'd have been over for her. So she says that she shits on Emma. It's uncomfortable. Emma's feeling uncomfortable. By the way, I forgot to tell you guys, Charlie also told some girl at work about it. Then he ends up damn near making out and sleeping with her right before the wedding reception. Emma has no idea. He's going through all these emotions because he finds out Emma's secret, which I don't feel like it was really a secret. It was just something she would have never told anybody had she not been in a position of a conversation to be vulnerable where she felt she could. Wrong mistake. I'm not being vulnerable in front of no white woman. Sorry, not sorry. Charlie seeks advice from a woman at work and asks her, what would she do if she found out her boyfriend, planned to shoot people up? And she asked some really good questions like, well, why did he want to do it? Well, did he go through with it? How far did he get? And she ultimately says, like, they're crazy and she wouldn't be with them. And then Charlie's like, well, that's not fair because what about this? What about this? Like, it's like he's trying to convince himself to stay with her, even though everyone he's talking to is saying they would hit the road jack. So it's kind of weird. So they get to the wedding. They end up getting married. It comes out at the wedding because so many people know now that a secret is only a secret if you tell nobody. You don't tell anybody, not even one person, because then that one person has the license to tell one person, and now the whole wedding party knows. So everybody in the wedding is kind of whispering about it. Emma's super embarrassed. Like I said, when Charlie told the girl at work, somehow he ends up crying. They end up kissing. He rips her blouse off. They're about to have sex, and then he stops. But when they're at the wedding, somehow it comes up, and that girl's date, her name's Misha. Misha's date is like some strong-ass guy. And so he walks up to Charlie, beats Charlie up at the wedding. Emma leaves, and the last thing we see is Charlie kind of sitting at, he goes home. He's looking for Emma. Emma's not home. He's beat up pretty bad. Like I said, A24. Think gruesome. Think decapitation. So, but he still has his head. But, like, it's pretty bad. So he gets beat up. He goes home looking for Emma. She's not there. She's not answering. She's fled the wedding. She's embarrassed. And she finds out at the wedding that Charlie just made out with a girl the day before. Like, it was just too much. So he ends up going to their favorite restaurant and kind of just sitting down lonesome. At the end, she walks in. walks right past him, something I would definitely do because he kind of looks up like, oh, she's here for me. She keeps walking. And then they kind of sit down and she sits down with him and says, hi, I'm Emma. Nice to meet you. So we know that they're going to start over. Shit, they just got married. So they are going to stay in this relationship and they're going to start over. It was just a lot. And like I said, there's been so much dialogue on the internet about this movie because people are going back and forth about the controversial topic of a school shooting. Like, what would you do? Like, if someone told you, like, I planned this, but I didn't do it. Like, would you look at them differently? I have no idea. Something very interesting, though, about Emma's character, like I said, this was a high school phase. So they show her, like, in these chats with these guns, with this war paint on. Like, she looks like a fucking psycho. I'm not going to lie. But then the day she plans to shoot up the school, another kid actually does pass away. So the whole school is mourning for some kid. And so it kind of takes away, I don't know, it takes away from what she was hoping to gain because everybody's already sad. And so instead of her shooting up the school, she turns into an activist against gun violence. So her whole trajectory changed. She joins a club against gun violence and she becomes the spokesperson for this group against gun violence. The irony, right? She even tells Charlie this and Charlie's kind of like, so then you start acting like you didn't like guns? It was like damned if you do, damned if you don't. I felt bad for her, but I do understand the seriousness of what she was preparing herself to do. I don't know. Crazy ass movie. In true fashion, in the end, Charlie realizes that he can't live without Emma and he loves her. So he is waiting at that diner for her. And it kind of just makes me think all this for nothing. Like all this drama. I mean, good title, I guess. All this drama for nothing because if you're in a relationship and you love someone, do you need the approval of everyone else? I think that's what the movie kind of came down to. Do your friends and family have to love or like the person that you're committing your life to? In Charlie's case, I guess not. I really enjoyed the movie. I think I would probably give it like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 as well. It's A24. Their pockets are deep. Oh my God. Do you guys have a movie for me? Shit. There's so many movies coming out in A24 in the past 6 months alone. Like, I'm so impressed. But I will say for me, that movie really came down to like approval. Do you need the approval of others to be in love? Well, that's my show for this week. You can catch me next week here at the You Feel Me podcast, where I talk all things movies, TV shows, and other black ass business. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, talk to me. I talk back. See you next week.